you, Sarah. Can everyone hear me? I'm just going to pass the microphone down to Shane, the best man.
Just like to say no one born again like Pete or Jared. On behalf of Jared and Nicole, I'd like to welcome everyone. Thank you all for being here on the big day, particularly those who have traveled long distance. I know that they really appreciate the effort that has gone into making the day special. When I started working on this speech, I went to the internet for examples of inspiration. They were all entitled Greatest, Funniest, or Most Epic Best Man Speech Ever. If I've learned anything from Jared, it's that sometimes you need to set the bar low. And let people have lowered expectations, so if you do succeed, it'll seem way more impressive. So I'd like to title the speech, The Most Mediocre Best Man Speech Ever. Introduce myself, Shane, for those of you who don't know. Jared's third oldest brother. The last one before Jared showed up. To me, it's obvious what happened. The third time was the charm for getting the perfect boy. So our parents rolled the dice on getting a girl. And then Jared was close enough. Growing up together wasn't too bad. We actually got along fairly well, except for when we didn't. But it was mostly just the usual tormenting and annoying each other. Something, as Nicole has witnessed, hasn't changed much. As a teenager, though, Jared did have a habit of borrowing our clothes. And by borrow, I mean take when no one was looking. He'd hide in the bathroom until right before the school bus came, and then pop out wearing clothes that obviously were not his. But when confronted, are those your clothes? He'd always answer, I don't know. They're in my basket. I don't have time to change, but the bus is here. I always thought stealing each other's clothes was a sisterly thing to do. This further confirms my theory. In school, Jared seemed to be straight bottom. His report cards always said the same thing. Not applying himself. Needs to try harder. Not working to his full potential. I thought, nah, he's just not that bright. But for some reason, proper motivation, such as a threat from your parents to do good on the test, where you're not going to your friends for the weekend, you could somehow pull off a great time. One time, he wrote an exam and barely passed with a 51. The teacher informed Mom, however, that he would have aced the test had he actually written down all the answers. Instead, he wrote down just enough answers to get to 51. And just put the exact page number and paragraph in the textbook where the rest of the answers could be found. Had it worked, it would have been pretty genius. He figured that with half the effort, he could have twice the time for fun. And I'm sure he had more fun in those 3 years of grade 12 than anyone else. I should probably stop making fun of him. This is a big day after all. He's also been dealing with an asthma inner ear problem, which most of you probably don't know. The proper name of which isn't important, and I can't pronounce it anyway. What is important is that the non-technical term for it is ear rocks. And I finally have a doctor's confirmation that he has rocks in his head. That might be a little hard. Consider a payback for making me speak publicly. 7 years ago, Jared announced he was heading to Alberta. He sold his most valuable possession, a Pontiac Sunfire that was running on 3 cylinders controlled by a diesel. He scraped together whatever else he could and hitched a ride out to the land of opportunity. We half expected a call at some point shortly after for a plane ticket home, but that call never came. Instead, he hustled and worked his butt off and got a great job. he started getting all the things he always said he'd have. A nice bike, a decent vehicle, and one of the sweetest 1980 Camaros I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Most importantly, he met this girl named Nicole. I heard about some of their early dates. A drive on his bike, fishing trips, and teaching her how to do burnouts in his car. You know, the stuff of true romance. Last year, he finally proposed to her, and today, they tied the knot. By doing so, Jared proved that he doesn't actually have rocks in his head. And then, when it counts most, he can raise the bar all the way to the top. For Nicole, you love dogs and fishing and catching frogs and naming them Mr. Pickles. You laugh at my jokes, you have great hygiene, you smell nice, and you don't steal my stuff. You're going to make a much better sister than Jared ever did. Please join me in offering a toast to the happy couple. May they have many years of helping happiness together.